Today we're taking a look at these MLB matches, which are happening on Thursday, May 18, 2023, and giving you our team and total picks for today. Welcome back to High Stakes. Before we dive into our video, don't forget to subscribe and to push the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also check out our Patreon if you want access to our premium picks. Our Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. You will find the link to our Patreon in the description and comments section below. Los Angeles Angels vs Baltimore Orioles. Los Angeles will be in the thick of the wild card chase if it hopes to hold on to Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, but is it actually good enough to compete for a playoff spot? It will take more than .500 baseball, that's for certain. The Angels score 5.14 runs per game, 6th, and hit .262, 7th, with a .754 ops, 9th. They've hit 56 homers, 8th, and stolen 18 bags, 28th, in 2023. The Law pitching staff has posted a 4.41 ERA, 18th, and a .130 WHIP, 15th, with 12 quality start. Baltimore is battling its way into the AL East race and figures to be competitive in the wild card race throughout the 2023 MLB season. Are the O's scratching the surface of their potential? The Orioles score 5.05 runs per contest, 8th, and hit .250, 13th, with a .748 ops, 10th. They've launched 50 long balls, 13th, and stolen 40 bases, 4th this year. The Baltimore pitching staff has posted a 4.16 ERA, 15th, and a 1.31 WHIP, 18th, with 11 quality starts. Tyler Anderson has regained his form in his last few outings, holding Milwaukee, Texas, and Cleveland to 7 earned runs in 17.2 frames. That type of performance should be good enough to keep Los Angeles in the game in Thursday's matinee, giving the LA lineup ample opportunities to end the series on a high note. The Angels, averaging 6.0 runs in day games and 4.8 runs on the road, have the firepower to get the job done. Our team pick is LA Online. Wells will take the mound for the home team on Thursday. He's coming off an impressive performance in his last outing, holding Pittsburgh scoreless in 7 innings of work. The righty has won 3 of his last 4 starts and only surrendered 1 run in the start he didn't win, no decision versus Atlanta. Wells boasts a 39.9 KBB ratio in 2023. Our total pick is under 9 runs. Washington Nationals vs Miami Marlins. Trevor Williams will get the nod on Thursday. Williams had his previous start end quickly due to rain. He allowed 1 run in 2.1 innings against the Mets before the game was called. The veteran has been dominant at times but can be inconsistent and has reported a 4.23 ERA and a 1.30 WHIP, accompanied by a 1-1 record in 38.1 innings pitched on the season. The right-hander was stellar against the Marlins last season, conceding 3 runs in 11 innings, and is 1-1 with a 3.60 ERA in 30 career innings against the division rivals. The Marlins will have Yuri Perez make his second career big league start on Thursday afternoon. Perez was solid in his debut last week against the Reds, conceding 2 runs on 2 hits in 4.2 innings and struck out 7 batters, resulting in a no decision in a bout the Marlins lost. The rookie is the Marlins' top pitching prospect and the number 3 pitching prospect in the major leagues. He recorded a marvelous 2.32 ERA and a 0.81 WHIP in AA this season. The Nationals have Trevor Williams on the hill. The right-hander has not been as sharp recently, squandering 10 runs in his last 4 outings, spanning only 17 innings. He has also been horrible on the road where he has posted a poor 5.66 ERA in 4 outings. Furthermore, Nationals starter Yuri Perez is one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. He allowed 2 runs and struck out 7 in 4.2 innings in his debut against the Reds last week. He should be even more comfortable in his second start. Perez is a right-hander, and the Nats haven't been dangerous against righties, posting a .652 ops against right-handed starters compared to a .759 ops against lefties. The Fish have won 3 in a row, and I expect another victory in this one. Our team pick is Miami Marlins. The Fish are concluding a 6-game homestand in this game. They dropped 2 of 3 against the Reds last weekend and have now lost 3 of their last 4 series, with a lone series win in that span occurring against the Diamondbacks last week. They stand at 5-5 in their last 10 games after rallying for a 5-4 victory on Tuesday. Gary Cooper is back in the lineup after a quick trip on the Illinois. The 32-year-old has been one of the Marlins' better hitters, posting a .280 average with 14 RBIs and a .748 ops in 26 games. Cooper was a tough out against the Nats last season, posting 5 RBIs and in .886 ops. Jazz Chisholm Jr. has landed on the IL. Miami has not been able to produce with consistency and is last with 3.48 runs per game. The pitching staff is carrying a 4.52 team ERA, placing them 21st. Our total pick is over 8 runs. Tampa Bay Rays vs New York Mets. Through 43 games, the Tampa Bay Rays have maintained their MLB best winning percentage and run differential. The 8-run outburst on Tuesday also restored Tampa's status as MLB's leader in runs per game. The Rays were first in nearly every other stat, including batting average, OBP, slugging, and home runs, so it only makes sense that they outscore everyone. Tampa is a dangerous running team too, with 40 stolen bases, 4th in 54 attempts. Wander Franco and Randy Arozarena are squarely in the MVP discussion, although Yandy Diaz has arguably hit better than both thus far. There's plenty of reason to fear the Rays' batting order. Meanwhile, the Mets' massive peril has produced middling results midway through May. Under .500, they are much closer to the Nationals for last place, plus 1.5 games, than the Braves for first, minus 6.5 games. A pitching staff that was supposed to be nothing short of dominant is 25th in staff ERA. Injuries have played a massive part, especially Edwin Diaz's absence in the bullpen, but even the healthy arms aren't delivering as promised. Tyler Megill has arguably been the Mets' top starting pitcher in 2023, and he'll collect his 9th start of the season in this series finale. Megill owns a 4.02 ERA and only allowed 2 runs, 1 earned, in his latest outing. His home ERA this season may be 3.38, but his last 2 times on the Citi Field mound saw Megill allow 3 runs and not last 6.0 innings. Despite the lowest ERA of his career, Megill currently has a career-worst WHIP of 1.512 thanks to a walk rate that's ballooned. His luck may be fading after a strong start. Even without knowing their pitching plan, the Rays dominating is a safe bet. Their offense is capable of winning them any game, especially against a pitcher that will give Tampa free base runners. Megill's walk issues will get him in more trouble than it has all season for the Mets, and the Rays' offense will take advantage as they have all season. The Mets won't be able to muster enough runs to match what they allow, and Tampa leaves New York with their heads held high. Our team pick is Tampa Bay Rays minus 1.5 runs. The Mets' batting order has MLB's home run leader, Pete Alonso. Even with his 14 blasts, the Mets are 20th in home runs, with 44 entering Wednesday night. They are only 23rd in runs per game despite several all-star bats in the lineup. Hitting isn't as pressing of an issue as pitching in Queens, but the batting order is nowhere near the dominance that led to 101 wins in 2022. The Mets have a top 10 walk rate and strikeout rate this season, so they're controlling the strike zone. They just need to start getting the hits and driving in more runs to make it meaningful. Our total pick is over 8.5 runs. Cleveland Guardians vs Chicago White Sox. The Cleveland Guardians have started to show some of the traits that led them to the AL Central Division title in 2022 after trailing the Twins through the All-Star break. This year, the Guardians again find themselves behind the Twins but hope to make their move earlier. Heading into this 3-game series with the White Sox, the Guardians pulled off back-to-back come-from-behind wins over the Angels to close out a 5-4 homestand. On Tuesday night in Chicago, a scoreless game in the 5th was turned upside down following a catcher's interference call that led to a 6-run uprising by the White Sox, which ended the Guardians' modest win streak at 2 games. Shane Bieber was tagged for 11 hits and 6 runs in just 4 2/3 innings of work. On Wednesday night, the Guardians were held to just 6 hits and 2 runs in a 6-2 loss. With a roster full of several veterans that would be attractive to other teams, the next 2 months will be critical to the White Sox way of thinking when the trade deadline approaches. Chicago is currently in 4th place in the AL Central, much closer to the bottom of the standings than the top. The White Sox have lost 5 out of 7 games heading into the series opener with the Guardians. On Tuesday night, the White Sox exploded for 6 runs in the 6th inning, including a 3-run homer from Gavin Sheets and a 2-run blast by Jake Berger on their way to an 8-3 win. On Wednesday night, Mike Clevinger allowed 2 runs over 6 innings, and the White Sox mashed 3 home runs on their way to victory. The Guardians have struggled out of the gate in this series, losing each of the first 2 games. I like them to bounce back in the series finale behind rookie pitcher Allen. Chicago is hitting just .246 against lefties this season, and Allen has done an excellent job keeping the ball in the yard this season. Cease, meanwhile, has struggled with his command and has a hard hit ratio of nearly 50%. He also is 0-2 in his last 3 starts with an ERA near 6.50. Look for the speedy Guardians to get on base, run and advance runners against Cease as he struggles to find the zone. Take the Guardians. The White Sox will hand the ball to their ace of the past few seasons, Dylan Cease. Cease has not pitched like an ace thus far as he continues to struggle with his command. He has a 4.50 ERA at home this season in 5 starts, going 1-1. He has walked 18 batters in that time span and struck out 27. Cease's hard hit percentage has jumped from 31.2% in 2022 to a whopping 48% this season. Our total pick is under 8.5 runs. New York Yankees vs Toronto Blue Jays. The New York Yankees moved to 25-19 on the season following Tuesday's 6-3 victory at Rogers Center, tallying their 10th win in 14 games. During that stretch, the Yanks haven't lost 2 consecutive contests. They still sat at the 4th spot in the AL East, where all 5 teams were above .500 on Wednesday. Nestor Cortes will toe the slab Thursday in Toronto, and the 28-year-old lefty carries a 3-2 record, 5.53 ERA, 1.32 WHIP, and 42/13 KBB ratio, 8 starts, 42.1 innings pitched. It's fair to say that Nasty Nestor hasn't been at his best so far this season. He's allowed a thumping 15 earned runs on 18 hits and 8 walks over his previous 3 starts and 14 innings of work. Last Friday, Cortes was shelled for 6 earned runs across 4.1 frames in a no decision against the Tampa Bay Rays. New York eventually won 9-8. He's now in the 64th percentile in expected batting average and the 48th percentile in expected slugging percentage. Nestor Cortes is having a down year after being a dominant force for a couple of years. On the other side, Jose Barrios is trying to turn the corner after a hideous 2022 campaign when he led the American League in hits allowed, 199, and earned runs allowed, 100. Both bullpens have pitched in a shaky form of late, so I would stay away from the side bet and take the over on the totals. The current Yankees are 44 for 152 against Barrios. Aaron Judge has 8 hits and a pair of homers and 21 at-bats. Anthony Rizzo is 9 for 22 with 2 dingers, and DJ LeMahieu is 8 for 19 versus Barrios. The current Blue Jays are 22 for 80 against Cortes. Bo Bichette is 5 for 10 with a home run, while Whit Merrifield is 5 for 14 with 3 doubles and a homer. I'm taking the Yankees only because their lineup has been on fire over the last couple of weeks. Our team pick is take the New York Yankees. Jose Barrios will be on the bump Thursday, and the 28-year-old righty is 3-3 with a 4.70 ERA, 1.28 WHIP, and 44/11 KBB ratio in 8 starts, 46 innings pitched this season. Over his previous 3 outings in May, Barrios has gone 1-0, while yielding 9 earned runs on 22 hits and 6 free passes across 17.1 innings of work. Last Saturday, Barrios tossed 5.2 frames of a 2-run ball in a no decision versus the mighty Atlanta Braves. Toronto eventually won 5-2. Jose ranks in the 26th percentile in expected batting average and the 19th percentile in expected slugging percentage. Our total pick is over 9 runs. Los Angeles Dodgers vs St. Louis Cardinals. Los Angeles dropped the middle game of their set with the Twins at home Tuesday night, setting up their rubber game contest Wednesday. The Dodgers entered Wednesday's action 27-16 and held a 3-game lead on the Diamondbacks in the NL West. They look to beat the Cardinals for the 8th time in their last 9 meetings. On Tuesday against Minnesota, Los Angeles finished with 8 hits, though Freddie Freeman, RBI, was the lone player with 2 in the contest. The Dodgers were just 2 of 12 with runners in scoring position in the contest. Clayton Kershaw, 6'3", took the loss on the hill as he threw 4 innings, allowing 2 runs on 7 hits with 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. St. Louis saw their 4-game win streak snapped as they were beaten in the middle game of their 3-game set with the Brewers Tuesday night. The Cardinals entered Wednesday in the basement of the NL Central with a 17-26 mark and stood 7.5 games behind the Brewers for the top spot in the division. Against Milwaukee, St. Louis got 3 of their 7 hits from Tommy Edman, run, while Nolan Arenado launched his 8th homer of the season in the loss. That marked the 5th straight game where Arenado had blasted a homer. Jordan Montgomery, 2-6, took the loss on the mound as he threw 5.1 innings, allowing 3 runs on 8 hits with 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. Wainwright was originally slated to throw Wednesday against Milwaukee, only to see Oliver Marmol juggle the rotation as the team called up Matthew Liberatore to start, pushing everyone back a day. To be honest, Wainwright hasn't looked all that great in his first 2 starts, and now he has to contend with a deep, talented Dodgers lineup that can hurt you from anywhere in the order. Urias has pitched well of late after a slow start to the season and has the offensive support to bail him out should he have any issues. The Cardinals have the advantage of not having to travel heading into this series, but the Dodgers are clearly the better team at this stage of the season. Look for Los Angeles to maintain their recent dominance of the Redbirds as they take the opening game of the set. Our team pick is Los Angeles Dodgers. Adam Wainwright is on the mound for the Cardinals as he makes his 3rd start of the season in this contest. He comes in with no record, a 7.20 ERA, a 1.70 WHIP, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts over 10 innings of work this season. Wainwright didn't factor in the decision in his last start, which came Friday night on the road against the Red Sox. He threw 5 innings, allowing 4 runs on 7 hits with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts in a game the Cardinals eventually won 8-6. Wainwright makes his 20th career appearance and 17th start against the Dodgers in this contest. He comes in 7-6 with a 2.79 ERA, a 1.223 whip, 35 walks and 80 strikeouts over 106.1 innings of work against them. Wainwright is 106.58 with 2 saves, a 2.86 ERA, a 1.149 whip, 333 walks, and 1,180 strikeouts over 1,391.1 innings in 236 career appearances, 205 starts at Busch Stadium. Our total pick is under 8.5 runs.